Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work or how much your salary increases, you're still just running in place? You get a pay raise, but then prices go up. New laws are passed to protect workers, but the fundamental feeling of being just a cog in a machine never really goes away. It's a feeling many of us share, this sense that the economic system we live in is somehow fundamentally broken. For centuries, we've been trying to fix it. We've seen incredible changes: fixed working hours, overtime pay, profit sharing, even workers getting a say in management. We've experimented with different forms of ownership, from purely private companies to state-run industries. On paper, these changes look like huge victories for the working person, and in many ways, they were. Life is certainly better for most workers today than it was 200 years ago. But let's be honest. Have these changes solved the core problem? Are we, the producers, truly free? Or are we still, in essence, just wage earners? Whether you work for a billionaire CEO or a government agency, the deal is basically the same. You trade your time and effort for a wage. You produce goods or services, but they don't belong to you. You're compelled to hand them over in exchange for a paycheck. This arrangement has been called many things, but the text we're exploring today calls it a form of modern slavery, a temporary slavery, lasting as long as you work for a wage. It doesn't matter if the employer is a private individual or the state. The fundamental relationship is unchanged. You produce, someone else owns what you produce, and you get a wage in return. They might call the profits from a state-owned company a benefit to society, but how much of that do you actually see in your pocket? Your direct benefit is your wage, and that's it. This makes you dependent, not empowered. So, if tinkering with ownership and wages hasn't worked, what's the alternative? The argument is that we need to stop putting band-aids on the problem and go back to basics. We need to look at the natural laws of production. What does it actually take to create something of value? Think about it. In any production process, whether it's baking bread or building a car, you need three essential things. First, you need the raw materials, the flour, the steel, whatever it is. Second, you need the tools or means of production, the oven, the factory, the machinery. And third, and most importantly, you need the producer, the person, the worker, the human being doing the work. Take away any one of these three, and production stops. You can't make a car without steel. You can't make it without a factory. And you certainly can't make it without workers. All three are equally essential. So, if they are all equally essential, doesn't it make sense that they should all get an equal share of the final product? Not a wage based on what an employer decides to pay, but an equal share of the value created. This is the core of what this theory proposes. A new socialist system, but not the kind you might be thinking of. This isn't about state ownership. It's about a partnership based on natural rules. The idea is simple. The final product is divided equally among the components that created it. If a product is made by a producer, using raw materials and a machine, then the value of that product should be split three ways. 1/3 for the producer, 1/3 for the provider of the raw materials, and 1/3 for the owner of the machine. What about farming? Simple. It takes land and a farmer. So, the harvest is split 50-50. If they use a complex tractor in the process, then it's split three ways: the land, the farmer, and the tractor. Everyone who contributes an essential element gets an equal share. This completely changes the game. It abolishes the wage system. You are no longer a worker or a laborer in the old sense. You become a producer, a partner in the process. Your reward is directly tied to the success of what you create. You're not just getting a wage that someone else determined. You are getting your rightful share of the output. This liberates people from the bondage of the wage system. Now, you might be thinking, what about technology? Machines are replacing workers everywhere. And that's true. Science and technology have changed the nature of work. The massive working class of the past is shrinking, replaced by smaller groups of skilled technicians, engineers, and scientists. Unskilled labor is on its way out, but this new system accounts for that. The human element, the producer, remains a fundamental component no matter how advanced the technology gets. A machine can't operate itself. It needs a technician, an engineer, a scientist. These people are the new producers, and because they are an essential component, they are entitled to their equal share. Under this model, the old-style trade unions might disappear, but they would be replaced by new syndicates of engineers and technicians, ensuring their rights as partners in production. This vision isn't about going back in time. It's about applying timeless natural principles to our modern economy. It's a solution that doesn't focus on who owns the factory, but on the production process itself. It aims to solve the economic problem by ensuring that those who produce, consume. Not by receiving a charitable wage, but by claiming their inherent right as an equal partner in creation. It's a radical idea, a complete shift from how we think about work and wealth. It proposes a world where your income isn't just a wage, but a direct share of the value you help create. A world where you are not a temporary slave, but a true partner. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? What would our world look like if this was the system we lived by? Thanks for sticking with me through that deep dive. It's a lot to think about, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy exploring big ideas that challenge the status quo, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.